right, so this year we didn't actually make any reviews for the Lineman cleats, and frankly, we just had way too many videos to put out. And frankly, that's because the Lineman cleat videos don't get a lot of views, and that means they just fall down our priority list as the season goes on. And we didn't honestly have time to get to all of them this year like I planned. But I did still test a bunch, so I'd like to talk to you about them today. And to this video, I'm going to give you a breakdown of every Lineman cleat available on the market right now, pros, cons, price, basic stuff, and then give you a ranking at the end about which I think is my favorite to my least favorite. So first up, we got the new kid on the block, the Nike Alpha Strong. Now, honestly, I hate the name of these things, but at the same time, they're a fantastic cleat. These are a full redesign over the 4 Savage Pros that have been around for a really long time, and they worked with a bunch of NFL and college linemen to design these things because they found that the pros were just not wearing their Lineman cleat. So they worked with guys like Quentin Nelson and a couple other people in the NFLPA to actually come up with a cleat that linemen in the NFL would want to wear. Now, taking a look at the features on this thing, on the upper, it's essentially 2 sections. Now on the toe box, this thing, they added this kind of like rubber overlay material, which is really good for durability. Doesn't give you a lot of protection against someone stepping on your feet, but still good. The back of the cleat is a standard TPU kind of material that they've used in tons of cleats in the past, so it's pretty simple. It has a lunar lawn midsole, which has been a go-to of Nike's for a really long time for any of their Lineman cleats, which I love. And then they have a new traction plate this year, which is kind of like the Alpha X frame, where it has the big studs on the outside, so it's great for gripping, but it's also a little bit of a softer plastic, not really a rubber, but it's somewhere in the middle. So it has a good give, it has nice big thick studs. Although it feels like it's missing a bunch in the middle, this thing is fantastic. It is also a really high cut cleat, so it's good for ankle support. The breathability on it was actually fantastic for a Lineman cleat, like probably the best of anything on this list. That was really nice. Colors, you're gonna get these in black, white, and then your team colorway options, which are gonna be a red, white, and a blue, white. Price $155, middle of the pack. So those are all the pros. The only con with these things is that you have to make sure you try them on in person, because I found they're super wide, which is great for linemen that they made this traction plate a wider version of the Alpha plate. So that's great to see, but it means you have to try them on in person. I wear a 12.5, and these things were at least a half to a full size too big for me. The toe box fit almost perfect, but they were just a little wide for me. So yeah, overall, these things are dope. All right, so next up is gonna be the Under Armour Hammer. Now, if you notice here, the model I'm using is the older model. The only difference between this model and this one is the sheath. And clearly no one liked this thing, so we can just, there. Now I just updated the model. So when you're looking at the Under Armour Hammer, it is another high cut Lineman cleat. Came out a couple years ago, so we actually do have a full review on this one. It has kind of like a soft leather upper with then this rubberized overlay over the front to give it a little bit of durability. Still not great if someone steps on your feet, but that's kind of par for the course with Lineman cleats. The traction plate on this thing is this kind of, it's big, it's heavy. It has a lot more studs on the outside, so similar to the Nike one. Not a lot of studs in the middle, so that seems to be the theme. Overall, it fits really well. It is pretty heavy. It does come in 4 different colorways, which is nice. And it is definitely the cheapest on this list at around $100. The only con with this cleat is number one is going to be the weight. There's a ton of weight within this traction plate, so these are probably the heaviest on the list, and they are harder to find this year. It doesn't seem like Under Armour circulated a lot of the Lineman cleat for whatever reason, so if you're trying to get the Under Armour Lineman cleat, these are going to be harder to find. This video is brought to you by TrueFit Customs, the brand trusted by over half the teams in the NFL and probably your favorite player, for their premium custom fit mouth guards. TrueFit makes custom fit easy by providing high performance custom fit mouth guards at a fraction of the price, delivered straight to your front door. Here's how it works. TrueFit sends you an impression kit with everything you need. Just follow the instructions, create your 2 impressions, then just mail it back to them in the same box with the prepaid label they already gave you. From there, TrueFit scans and digitally designs your guard with laser level precision to make a custom fit mouth guard that is then delivered right back to your front door. After your first order, TrueFit creates your account and digitally stores all of your scans on demand access, so you can reorder any custom fit guards in the future. Simply log onto your account on their website, where you can view that digital scan, track any orders you have, or reorder any variety of custom fit guards like sport guards, night guards, retainers, whitening trays at just a fraction of the price that the dentist charges. They have 3 different thicknesses depending on the sport you're playing. You can pick from a variety of colors, and even teams can do customizations like putting the player's number on the guard itself to make it easy to track. The best part for you are getting the exact same product that everyone in the NFL is switching to right now. Guys like Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley, Cooper Kupp, Matthew Stafford, Brock Bowers, Caleb Williams, all these guys are switching for one reason: it is the best mouth guard on the market. It gives you all the protection you need with the super slim, low profile look, and something you can always speak and breathe easy. And if you don't believe me, I've been wearing the mouth guard this entire ad read, not one slip up. Ditch the hassle and the cost of going to your dentist and switch to TrueFit Customs, which gives you a premium quality product delivered straight to your front door at a fraction of the price. If you want to pick up a TrueFit Customs for yourself, you should go watch our full-length YouTube video to learn more, and check out TrueFit Customs, which we have linked down below. All right, back to the video. So next up, we're looking at the Adidas Adidas Chaos. So this is the Lineman cleat when Adidas rebranded last year to everything either being called Adidas, which is just for receivers, Adidas Impact, which is receivers, is their skill position guys, so equivalent of alpha, and then Adidas Chaos, which is their lineman. So this is going to be their lineman cleat here. Now these things came out last year and we think they're going to be on a 2-year cycle. So hopefully they make an updated version of this thing next year. When we're looking at the features on this thing, the first thing you notice is it is stupid lightweight, like by far the lightest lineman cleat on the market. They have taken that very easily. When you're looking at the upper, it's kind of like a standard TPU or some kind of synthetic material. And then they added this kind of rubberized overlay, which goes over top of the laces, over top of the toe box, and wraps all the way around and across your foot. So it's going to be good for durability and kind of make sure those laces don't get ripped up. Now this thing is super high cut, probably the highest cut of anything I'm going to feature on this list, and a lot of nice thick ankle padding on the back. You have a nice big strap to make it easy to grab. The other thing that's kind of interesting or different about this cleat is going to be the traction plate on the bottom. So whereas all the other cleats on the market, they kind of have a really lineman specific plate and then a skill position plate, it looks like Adidas took the technologies from their plate that's for all their speed cleats and then gave it to the lineman. The only difference between this and the skill one is going to be there's an extra stud on the heel and there's an extra stud on the front, and the studs are overall bigger and thicker than you are getting on these skill plates. So it's a little weird because they're kind of taking the tech of the skill and trying to give it to the lineman, which no other companies do. So not sure if they're onto something or they're off the mark there, but they did make them a little thicker, more around the outside. So it has the same characteristics of the other cleats on the market. So overall, I do think it is really good, but I'm just a little suspicious. Now, as far as colorways go, these have the most colorways of any cleat probably on the market right now. They have a white, they have a black, they have a red black, a blue black, and then they have the all red, the all blue. So I think there's 6 different colorways of these right now. So that's really great to see. Price is $149, again, in the ballpark of the rest of them. As far as pros, these things are super lightweight. They basically barely feel like you're on your foot. I like the traction plate, I like the comfort, so overall it is good. However, there are some cons of this thing that they need to figure out for next year. The first con is going to be the actual traction plate itself. So the traction plate on this thing is just too narrow. I think they took the exact same design as for the receiver one and kind of upscaled it a bit, but that means that for a lineman, this thing is just way too narrow of a cleat. Again, I wore a 12.5 for these things and I found they were way too snug on the sides of my foot. Whereas the Nike, I'd be sizing down. These, I would be at least going a half size up to make sure they fit me a little bit better. The other thing is going to be how much moisture and heat these things trap. So this rubber overlay that they put over top of the entire cleat here, they added a couple holes for breathability, but they're clearly not doing a lot. We have all these other lineman cleats on the market that I tested all in the same week. I tested them each a different day, all around the same temperature, doing the same things to make sure I was getting an accurate comparison. And I found that these things ran the hottest by far of all the other ones I was trying out at the same time. So something with this overlay on here is just trapping the heat in here. So although they are comfortable and they are lightweight, I did not prefer wearing these. These were the ones I wanted to take off the quickest because my feet were just cooking. So yeah, for that reason, they're okay. All right, next up is going to be the Jordan 1. And if you've ever worn a Jordan 1 shoe, they're going to feel identical. They have a Jordan 1 upper, and then they have the same kind of traction plate and midsole that all the other Nike cleats do. So they have a Lunar Lawn midsole here, and then depending on the model, the Jordan 1 you're looking at, some have a newer version of the traction plate, some still have an alpha version, a little older generation like this one here. Having said that though, the ankle support is great. There's a little bit of breathability, there's a little bit of protection in the toe box, but they're a good all-purpose cleat for linemen because it just feels like you can do a lot of different things with these. And even other positions like wearing these, like some linebackers in the NFL, some tight ends, some fullbacks. So these are a really good all-purpose cleat if you're a lineman and you kind of think you might be moving around positions. The weight is also pretty mid compared to the other ones. So yeah, it's just a great cleat. Now, when we're looking at the pros, the Lunar Lawn is great. The price on these things is actually not bad. And because this Jordan 1 is more like a retro, they give them more cool colorways. So where most other cleats do like the team colorways, the Jordan 1s you can get in like a black and silver, you can get an all white, you can get the shattered backboard, or they also have the team colorways. So the reds, the blacks, the blues. The Jordan 1 has a ton of different options and styles you can look at. The only really con with these things is because of the all leather construction, and it is more of a retro style where they're not adding like breathability to the toe box or anything. These things can hold in some heat too. All right, next up, we're going to be looking at the Jordan 3 Black Cement. So these things came out last year, and again, another Nike cleat that I absolutely love. We have the alpha plate on the bottom, nice wide, fit me really well. We have the Lunar Lawn midsole, super comfortable, and then the only difference in these and the Jordan 1s is going to be the upper. So the upper is a little bit shorter on here, so you have a little more mobility, and the materials are going to be slightly different. So these have a little more of a real leather, where those ones had a little bit more fabric built in. They do hold in heat, just like the other ones, because they didn't have any breathability in the toe box. They're trying to stick true to the actual Jordan 3 upper on this material. However, the cushioning on the outside of this is absolutely fantastic. So these cleats are one that are super high on my list, and I said that last year just because I absolutely love them. When we're looking at the pros of these things, the style of these is super classic. We have the elephant print, they'll work forever. However, our con on these things is the style, because this is the only colorway. So it's either you like this one or you don't like this one, and this is your only option. The other one is going to be priced. These things are $189, so we're starting to creep up to some of the more expensive Jordan options that you can get out there. But overall, I love these things. All right, next up is going to be the Jordan 11. So again, these are the same as the 1s and 3s, little higher ankle support than the 3s, not as much as the 1s. Full leather upper, which means they hold in a lot of heat. Same Lunar Lawn, same alpha plate. Again, the only difference is going to be style and price. So the style, they only only have these out right now in the white and the Carolina blue, and I think they're around 220 bucks at this point, so by far the most expensive on the list. Those are all the cleats you can get right now. Now let's rank them from least to most favorite. My least favorite spot, number 6, we're gonna be doing the Jordan 11. That's because if you like the Jordan 11, check out the Jordan 1, check out the Jordan 3. In those other ones, you can get more colorways, more options. You're getting the same feel on your foot at a lower price point with more customization. Yeah, Jordan 11's lowest. Number 5, we're going with the Under Armour Hammer. And that's because if you're looking for a Lineman cleat right now that is a high cut with a couple different colorways, there's just a couple other better options at a little higher price point. So I would go with one of the other ones we're going to talk about next. The only reasons you'd be wanting to pick these up is if you go somewhere and they have them on a crazy sale, because they are hard to find. So maybe if you're only trying to spend like $100 or less and you find these things on clearance, that'd be the reason to pick these up. Otherwise, not my favorite. All right, next up is going to be number 4, and that's going to be the Adidas Chaos. So the reason this thing ranks really low for me is the traction plate is just too narrow. So although it was comfortable to kind of wear on your foot with the traction plate, the overall width of the traction plate was too narrow, which meant it was really tight on the side of my foot, and it held in a lot of moisture and a lot of heat on these things. So although I do like that they're going for like a lightweight, high cut cleat that gives you kind of a ton of dexterity and ability to move, these are the ones I wanted to take off first. I wasn't itching to take off any of the other ones, but these I was kind of waiting for practice to be done so I could take these things off. Next up is going to be the Jordan 3. So I like these things, but they're a little bit lower cut. So sometimes linemen don't want that. They want a little higher cut. They have the least amount of styles available, and they have a little higher price point. Again, if you want the Jordan 3 look, you have to go with these things. But if you're looking for this traction plate with this midsole and this kind of feel on your foot, there's a better option right below it. That's going to be the Jordan 1. So the Jordan 1 gives you everything as the Jordan 3, except a little higher upper, a little lower price point, and more colorways. That's why the Jordan 1 ranks higher than the Jordan 3 for me. And my favorite new lineman cleat by far is going to be the Nike Alpha Strong. I still hate the name. The colorways are good. The price is good. They designed it with linemen in the NFL. The breathability is good. I really like the new traction plate. It's a perfect amount of like stiffness and give. So yeah, overall on the market right now, if you're going for a lineman cleat and you're trying to spend literally like the same as you would for anything else on the market, Nike Alpha Strong is going to be my go-to.